Good morning, everybody. 9:01. Man, look rough. It's been a week. How's everybody doing this fine Monday morning? Let me jump over on the YouTube, get instant feedback. You guys see and hear me okay? We'll let it buffer through the airwaves and the T1 lines and the fibers and maybe even some AOL. Is that even a thing anymore? You guys seeing me and hearing me all right? All 51 of you. Hey, imagine going and addressing a room with 51 people in it. Not quite the size of a college lecture hall. Usually those are like, can be what, 300, right? Something like that. All right. Hey, Brad from the Outer Banks. Good to see you, buddy. Delaware Steve. Hope you're feeling better. If you know, you know, right? Good to see everybody. All right. Um, Switch back over here to, first of all, let's see. I think you can still see me in that little corner thing, as long as you can see the screen and you can hear me. So after Milton, boy, it's hard to believe. I will come on. Let's see, how do I do this? There we go. Hard to believe. A week ago, I was, I guess, doing this exact same thing from Orlando, from the hotel that I like to stay at down there, over at the Flamingo Crossings area. It's just a nice part just outside the Disney property. Use it as a base camp when we go down to Florida for a hurricane. It's just a good starting point. And we were talking about Milton that was getting ready to really take off. And, we all know the end game. We all know what happened. But what a week it has been. So I'm going to do just a little recap. And then we'll take a look at the current state of the tropics as I prepare and look at things for what I'll do with my video update later today, which I'll have on probably around 4 o'clock. I want to make sure I get the full Euro run for today because we do have Invest Area 94L out there. But first, um, so there's this. I said, hey, I had to get out, I had to do something with the family, whatever. Yeah, I was truthful. I'm a huge music fan, especially film scores. And I have been trying to get to Hans Zimmer live, the show, since September the 10th. I had tickets in Raleigh and I couldn't go. I gave them to my two of my sons, and they went in my place. I had third row seats. Like, come on. And because of Francine, work comes first, of course. So I missed it. Um, I saw Hans Zimmer live in 2017 in Houston. Uh, and then, we saw the tickets coming for sale for North America again here, US tour. So I tried September 10th. No bueno, no go. Couldn't do it. And my backup date was September 27th with my colleague Matt. And my wife was going to go with me to that one. That we had four tickets out in Denver. And we had Helene. So I missed that one. Matt got to go. He stayed. He didn't come out for Helene. And I was desperate. I'm like, my last chance. There was like Oakland and LA and Seattle, and those just didn't fit with my schedule. So the last chance was October 12th in Las Vegas. And I booked them, got tickets, and booked the plane tickets, everything. My wife's going to go with me. And she's not nearly as big a film score fan as I am. And then we had Milton, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So I wrapped everything up, got Milton taken care of with all the equipment, and the landfall happened. I got home Thursday night, and we got on a plane, and I made it. I mean, I don't want, it's important to me because I score my own stuff in my documentaries. You probably know that. Longtime fans of Hurricane Track. So just a little bragging there that it all worked out. And there really wasn't anything for me to do Friday and Saturday in Florida. You got cleanup crews and power companies that need hotel rooms. I don't think it's appropriate, for me to take up a room if I don't have to. And so I figured, what the heck? You know, I'll do it. So I made it. And so I'm very happy about that. If you ever get a chance, probably a couple years, he'll do it again. He's going to do Europe in 2025. Go see Hans Zimmer. It was amazing. Truly, truly spectacular at T-Mobile Arena. And that was all after this. All right. So that's, again, this little discussion, a little bit of no guardrails. I can be more, just like we're just talking to how many people we got in the room now? 76, like I'm talking to a room with 76 people in it. I appreciate you. So, Milton, overall, a pretty good success. We set up cameras. First, we started down here in Siesta Key, and the timing of Milton was really annoying because it looked like it was going to make landfall later and later and later. And the battery systems that I took down basically give us about 36 hours, which normally is plenty of time. Um, and I got down there with CJ and Matt. He did come out to help me with this one. Uh, and we were early. Like the cameras could have run out because some of the models showed it as late as like 8 a.m. Thursday morning, and some were 2 a.m. and just everything in between. The cross track spread of when it would make landfall when we started setting up Tuesday afternoon and evening was very frustrating. And to make matters more difficult, the authorities in these areas were closing access to all of the barrier islands at 7 p.m. that Tuesday night. And so, that was going to be a big problem. And I'm not special. Sometimes we know local authorities and they'll let me on, but we couldn't risk it and not even get anything. So our first camera systems were set up here at Siesta Key, up on the north side. We were fortunate to be able to put them in a home. And then we were like, well, that's Tuesday evening. We'll do that one. And then we went up here to Venice and we put the second camera system on another home, again, from somebody that we got in touch with, thanks to our reach out on social media. And that was it for Tuesday night. And then we're going to wait and see, is it going to come into Tampa Bay where the surge pushes in? Is it going to be further south with the core? What kind of core would it have? We had some time to wait. And so I went back over to Lakeland where my hotel was for Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. Met up with Matt again near Brandon on Wednesday. And first thing we did is went down and set up in Port Charlotte area, Punta Gorda, Charlotte Harbor. And this was great. I'm going to show you this one in a minute. That's the one I'm going to focus on. And then we went up to Sarasota and put cameras around there, 2 cameras in Sarasota. And so all told, and then we finished up in Tampa, one on Bayshore. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We had 8 cameras. Did not get out here towards Inglewood and Minnesota Key, which is obviously a bummer because that's the area that was hit the hardest. It does look like from the surge, which is interesting to me because you got the barrier island here. And so that means it got overwashed. And, it was at night, and we did pretty well with the nighttime stuff. So I don't have too many regrets. You don't know for sure where things are going to be the worst. And what we captured here in Punta Gorda at the marina down here was remarkable. And that's what I want to show you. So this was a couple hours after we set the camera up down at the marina. And I knew as soon as I saw that boat and the houseboat next to it and these other boats that were still there with only hours to go, I thought, well, all right, well, this will work. And the night vision will do really well with all this white that you see. It'll reflect the high albedo, as we call it, would work. We need a nice close shot. A wide shot doesn't work at night, and it doesn't even really work during the day. You can't see what's going on those buildings in the distance. Maybe if the roof came off or something, you might see it. Everything has to be close. We have to think of this like we're the director of photography for a live special effects shot. Seriously, we're trying to capture impacts. That's how you have to think about it. So that's what it looked like at 4:14. And if we skip ahead to almost 7 o'clock, the water is definitely coming up. You can see that. And let's go back to the 4 o'clock. You can see the docks right here. You know what? I'm going to stop the screen share because I got to get my telestrator up. And if I don't have it up and running, the screen capture won't show it. And we'll highlight everything in red there. And we'll go back and share the screen. All right. Now we should be in business. All right. So move me out of the way. So you can see the docks are here and then the pilings. There's your houseboat. And again, look, it's raining pretty hard. And these buildings over here and these buildings over here, like even if these boats weren't here, and I thought, oh, what a great shot. Let's say it's going to make landfall at 4 in the afternoon. You wouldn't see much. Looks like a car wash. You have to have closeness. And we accomplished that. So that's 4 o'clock. You can still see the docks there. By 7 o'clock, the water has come up and those docks are submerged. And Milton is only a couple hours here from making landfall. And let's skip ahead to 8 o'clock. Now it's dark, and you still get some city lights back there, which is pretty good. Houseboat still there for now. And the water levels are coming up, but we still don't have it over the little bulkhead or whatever here, the sidewalk, the rail. No problems just yet. By 9 o'clock, well, now we do. We do have some problems. The water is up. It's over into the paved area, into the parking lot, and it's rocking and rolling pretty good. Um, Another hour later, and our boat has knocked out the pilings. All the pilings that were over here, they're gone. The houseboat wrecked, and we had pieces of the houseboat come through the shot, and the whole marina is just in shambles at this point. And then by 11 o'clock, it just gets worse and worse. Clearly, all of those pilings are just wiped out. And those things are pretty strong. Have you ever seen those pilings in a marina? For this yacht here to just total them. And then you got the waves coming in. And, so the water is probably only like 3 feet under the camera, which is about 7 feet high. So it's 4 feet at least above the ground. And so it had to rise 3 or 4 feet to get to that point. So we probably had about an 8 foot surge in there easily. The total water level rise, maybe even higher. And it can be higher in areas where the waterway is pinched off. Look at that wave, and we're getting close to hitting the camera. So this really worked out well at documenting storm surge in a marina. Luckily, whatever probably something on the bow line, I guess that rope held on. Otherwise, this boat would have come crashing right into the marina. It's like a hut kind of thing. Not a hut. It's a covered area, and the camera is sitting on one of the steel beams. We talked to a police officer when we were setting it up. Gave him one of our special business cards that has links on it for them to watch. Hopefully they tuned in so they knew what was happening. So we go on. Finally, the water level starts to come back down. And the yacht is just jacked up there on some of the leftover pilings. And the water level goes down, and the sun comes up the next morning. And we were just kind of bewildered, like, wow, look at that. What a difference from how it started and how it's going. And so there you go. I think that's a pretty good example. Could not have framed it any better to show storm surge in a marina. There's the houseboat crunched. And I can't see, I mean, I'm assuming this boat here is totaled. I don't know how that works. I don't have a boat, but that's the power of storm surge, and that worked very well considering it was at night. And look, this is somebody's boat. It's a loss. We're not glorifying it. It's the project that the technology worked. We're able to see this kind of stuff. No way in heck I'm going to stand there and film that. Nobody can. The water's too high and the waves rolling in. You just can't do it. So we have to have a way to do this, and we succeeded. And it's largely because of everybody here, right? All the people that support this project, this is what we're able to do. All right, so where are we? Well, we're above average. That part of the forecast has verified. We're at 13 named storms. We're probably 10 named storms under what we all thought would happen. And I'll address this more in today's update. I think we will add at least three more before the season is over, probably one more hurricane. And, we had that 6 week gap or something like that, maybe 4 weeks, probably four, right? Where we had nothing that was made everybody go, hey, what the heck? And there were a couple of systems. There was Invest 96L and PTC 8 that you could argue could have been named storms. So this could be 15. But look, we'll just take what we have. The stats don't lie. And there's your ace numbers. Milton at 23 and a half beats out Kirk, which lived longer. But Milton being a Cat 5 for, a couple times, really racked up that ace score. And the big winner still is Barrel at 35. So our total ace for the season stands at 140. So we are considerably above the long-term average. And we've had 9 hurricanes and 4 major hurricanes, pretty much right what the forecasts were indicating. Very, very active season. The junk tropical storms that we usually see really didn't materialize this year. Everything has been pretty high quality, and don't we know it? Speaking meteorologically, just strictly that metric, we haven't had. I mean, Alberto was kind of one of those slop systems, right? And everything else, for the most part, Chris wasn't too impressive, Gordon, but everything else was pretty darn. I mean, look at these 145 peak intensity, 120 knots, 125, 150. I mean, come on. All of our major hurricanes, let's see, one, two, three, all 4 of the major hurricanes were category 4 or higher. I mean, wow, that is exactly the kind of season we thought we would have. You throw in all the other junk storms like 2020 had, that live for a day, an advisory maybe. I don't want to say who cares, but who cares? Those are the ones that are just out there and whatever. We can see them because of satellites. Everything else really did add up, and we still have plenty of time on the clock for stuff to happen. And that brings me to this. Hey, speaking of stuff happening, we do have 94L, and this has a pretty good chance here of trying to develop again through this area. It did a pretty good job right near the Cabo Verde Islands, Cape Verde Islands, whichever you prefer. National Hurricane Center indicating, it's a well-defined area of low pressure. I'll show you in a minute. Conditions will probably improve where it's headed, and it's got a 50% shot. So flip a coin. There's your answer, I guess. It doesn't really work that way, but you understand. And then we'll use white here. Looking at the satellite, this is the true color. There's 94L, came off Africa late in the season here. There's even more energy over Africa. I'll show you that as well on the afternoon update. So we'll be watching this closely. And now we are starting to get a blow up in the Western Caribbean. The GFS has been all about something trying to develop and then come into Central America. There was one off run where it came up here and tried to go into the panhandle. One of those 18Z, been at the bar a little too early. I like those jokes on the internet, the happy hour GFS. One day we're going to get one of the modelers on here, somebody that knows, either somebody from INSEP or the Hurricane Research Division. There's a couple guys I know that I could bring on, and we'll have a good roundtable discussion and talk about the models. Some of them are different runs and off runs and on runs, and does it matter? Whatever. We'll get to that. Let me stop the share for a second so I can tell you something too important about the models. In the afternoon update today, teaser for you. You got to tune in. Make sure you tune into the afternoon update, the full discussion, because I got something I want to show you. Speaking of models, that'll just, I guarantee it, it's going to blow your mind. It is really, really something. And you have to just tune in. Something that I had my flight back from Las Vegas last night, and it's 4 hours from Vegas to Charlotte, and I got the onboard Wi-Fi, and I'm checking stuff out, working, always working, except when I'm in Hans Zimmer. I didn't check my phone once for any weather stuff during that 3-hour concert, by the way. True story. Absolutely true. Scout's honor. Um, I was just checking some stuff and I discovered something that I want to show you and make you very aware of that I think is important. So make sure you tune in to the update this afternoon. All right. How's that for a teaser for you? So that's the satellite, and this is the vorticity signature. And there's 94L, plain as day. Very well defined low level structure. So, we definitely need to watch it. Not a lot happening over here just yet. So we shall see. And I got to give it to the National Hurricane Center. That's why they are the best. They haven't put an outline over there, an outlook, a yellow, an orange, or anything, nothing, because there's not anything really there. There's some clouds and showers and thunderstorms, yes, but no low level vorticity. The air is not bundling, it's not coming together. There's no spin, whatever. So, we'll see. Maybe something will pop up, maybe it won't. The anomalies, I'll address this more this afternoon as well. Really, really interesting to see. There is your path carved out of the anomaly map from Kirk and Leslie. There's the path from Milton. It took all the way over. Now, why? This is really interesting. I'll again jump on this more. So the morning discussion is kind of like my bullet points, what I'm going to be looking at later, by the way. So why did it leave a cold wake there, but not when it was a category 5? I know the reason why. I want you to ruminate on it, and I will tell you my thoughts on it, and we'll discuss that on the afternoon update. All right. But that's very interesting. But look, everything else in the North Atlantic, despite all of these major hurricanes, we're still running well above normal. Incredible to see. There's our La Nina coming on, especially out in the INSO 3.4 region. We'll also look at that in more detail today. And speaking of all that, pack up everything, say goodbye to your loved ones. It's all over. Just kidding. I'm joking. I saw this. I was like, wait a minute, glitch. Something's wrong. I'm going to tell you something. If it went off the scale and disappeared by the next, well, this is back in time. So we got to go back in time. Anyway, yeah, something's wrong with the chart. We're already in October, so something broke on the CFS V2 plot here, which is good because seriously, if we got a La Nina of -3 and then it just went deeper than that, I don't know if the planet can handle that kind of a shock to the system and then a rapid rise back up towards neutral next year. Uh-oh, there's next year's hurricane season. Warm neutral. You can do your homework. What happens during warm neutral years? If you know, and some of the models showing warmer. But this is so far out in time, right? But we've gone down. We're close to, except whatever the shenanigans is. We're pretty close to the La Nina. We'll wait for the CPC, Climate Prediction Center, to address that. What else? I think that's about it, right? Oh, I did want to show you this. It's our insider site. And by the way, big welcome and a big thank you to the folks that joined up on our Patreon during Milton. I realize a vast majority of people want to log in, see the cameras, and then log out. But I hope that you'll stick around because we do all kinds of other stuff in the off season. There is no off season for us. We work winter storms, spring severe weather, the hail project that we've got going on, educational series. We do our Zoom meetings. We're a community. So if you joined up, please do consider sticking around. And I talked about this on one of my updates. I can't divulge too much because of NDA, non-disclosure agreement, but Patreon is going to have a big announcement in the next few weeks, and it is going to be a big, big game changer for people like me. I know this because I'm part of their ambassador program, and that's all I can tell you. It is going to be fantastic, and I can't wait to tell you all about it. Let's see. Somebody texted me. Let's make sure it's not somebody saying nothing's working. You never know. Let's see. Just a question from my oldest daughter. Everything's good. Anyway, that's our insider site. And look, if you signed up and I got to see the cams. Where's the cams? Let me show you. We got all kinds of stuff. There's the cameras. This is the stuff when we're active, right? But then you got your tracking tools. And, it's just a nice little spread of a few things that I look at. Honestly, you ever been to Mike's weather page, the tropical, what is it, update.com? Whoo, that's everything right there. But these are the main tools that I look at. Nothing against, having hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of things like Mike's weather page has got, but I like to keep things simple. And this is our little tracking tools area. And we're really focused on the landfall part. And then we've got our podcast, so check that out. Stories from the Hurricane Highway. You want to know how it all started? There it is. So take advantage of this, all right? It's all right there. And then, of course, our documentaries. These are all on YouTube, by the way, all crowdfunded and supported by people all 20 years ago. Started these documentaries, so check them out. And again, I do the music for these. I really do. I compose it, I play it. It's all a little bit of AI stuff now to help me because I'm so busy. I need a little assistance. Unlike Hans Zimmer, I don't have a full orchestra. So I have to come up with some stuff myself. But anyway, there's our insider site. And then off of that, this is what I wanted to show you. And again, I'll address this later today. We have cooled it a little bit close to the Big Bend area relative to average. Finally below average there. Can I get a hallelujah? Thank goodness, right? And there's a little bit of that carving out, but the big part's right here. And I'll explain why there's not more over here in the afternoon update. So again, you gotta stick around for that. Let's jump over on the YouTube chat and see how many people. 140 of you. Hey, the room doubled. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Let's see what's happening. We have Sunny and Tyler and Random Man. Random Man is actually a third cousin to Florida Man, I think. Just a joke there. Uh, what else? Delaware Steve said nope. So let's see. That must have been something from before. That's all right. Do you think the AMO will flip to negative anytime soon? I do not. And that's a great question there. What is that? Jesper Hammerland? Something like that? I do not think the AMO, the Atlantic Multi-Decadal Oscillation, will flip to negative anytime soon. I had to move my boat for tropical storm, got last spot in the marina the Coast Guard commandeered. Interesting. I don't know. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how all that works. And in fact, I used to know a harbor master. He passed away shortly after retiring, unfortunately. A really good guy down in Biloxi in Gulfport area, Mississippi. But those marinas, when people don't move their boats, it does start to get, you know, antsy down there. You never know what's going to happen. I remember after Ike, hundreds of boats were piled up on I-45 coming down to Galveston. I did see the Northern Lights, and Catherine, I'm very glad that you did too. And since we are science and weather and whatever geeks here, we got that comet out there. Comet Atlas is just what I call it for short. And I'm going to take the kids out to see it tonight and try to get some DSLR still images and then use some of the GoPros to do some time lapses because they do a pretty good job. They'll do like 10-second exposures and you can set the ISO where you want it. So that's going to be neat. I'm going to try that tonight. Let's see what's happening on our Discord. Kind of quiet, which is understandable. We're all kind of done with hurricanes, but the hurricanes are not necessarily done with us. So we shall see. All right, a couple more, and then I got to go on and do other stuff. We're at the bottom of the hour. I try to keep these about a half hour. Don't want to ramble on too much. Do you think the Gulf is done? So, and that's from Clark. Yeah, that's a tough one. Got to almost flip a coin. We'd love to say yes, because we're getting late enough in the season. We're getting these big fronts coming down and stronger wind shear. But in 2020, we thought the Gulf was done, and then we had Zeta on October 28th into the 29th. So, if I had to put odds on it, I'd say 60% confidence that the Gulf is done. I think that's reasonable. All right. 2.8 million folks. Yeah, I saw them coming in, Philip, the FPL, and all the crews that come in from out of state. Absolutely just unbelievable. You're talking about a documentary? That's something that needs to be made. I should talk to my it's not my boss, but one of the top people that I work with at Fox Weather, one of the executives who greenlit the documentary that they made about my career, um, about doing a documentary about the line workers. I think that would be great. I have to talk to him about that. That's interesting because I don't know how they do it. I really have no clue how they can come in and clean all that up and get the power back on. And and it's not easy, but they make it look easy. But I can't imagine. CJ, is the power back on down where you are in the Venice area? Will the Bermuda High rebuild and push storms farther west? Probably not enough because we're so late in the year. We're gonna have these big troughs coming down. But if they get west enough, then those troughs can pull them up. And that's why I can't say that the Gulf is free and clear because you get them around and then they come in the backside and those troughs get them. That's what happened with Wilma in 2005. Certainly Delta and Zeta in 2020. So you never know. Even Ada that came in there late and wiggled its way around, finally got up there off of Tampa. That's, by the way, how I knew. I even told CJ this. I'm like, I think Tampa, I just have this feeling we're in this era now where the Eastern Gulf is just going to get pummeled. We talked about it at the end of 2020. I was down there in mid-November for Ada, and it was pushing water onto Bayshore, pushing water across Courtney Campbell Causeway. And look, I realize from working all that that it doesn't take much to make Tampa Bay come to life, but yeah, it's like I just feel it. Like we just felt like there was a shift coming, and look what happened ever since 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. The Gulf has just been lit, and we got to make it stop, right? All right. BBC weather app glitch. I did not. I'll have to look that up. Have to put it on our Discord, Catherine, if you don't mind. Tell us about it. Forecast at 50. Oh, okay. I see your next part there. Yeah, sometimes that'll happen, and you'll see temperatures in some of the forecasts. It'll be like you'll see the meteorologist. They'll say like everything okay over there in Cleveland or whatever, and the temperature reading is like little ASOS things, little automatic temperature reports. It'll be like minus 250 or whatever. Cleveland's frozen. So anyway, all right. And let's just drop this out so I can get back to full screen for just me. So that's a good, look at what I'm going to talk about today. Probably, I'm just thinking about, let's do another live discussion on Wednesday. And then I can tell you too, during the off season, once the tropics really do calm down, this will at least be every Monday. I just think it's a good idea. Kind of look at the week ahead. We'll have winter weather outlooks. And I just like the title, The Morning Discussion, because that's what it is. I'm just showing you what I look at. But we got winter weather coming up, lake effect snow season not too far around the corner. And then some hints that the high plains could get a really big winter this year. I know we're in sort of not a drought, but we haven't had a lot of big nor'easters the last few years. There's like one or two maybe. So yeah, we'll start looking at winter weather before too long. California weather with the high Sierras, that's a Truckee. I love going out there for big snows. And before you know it, we'll be in 2025. We'll be starting to look ahead for the 2025 hurricane season and getting stuff ready for all of that. Spring severe weather. We're expanding. Started with just hurricanes, but you guys, thanks to your support and helping the YouTube channel grow. And by the way, that is the single biggest thing that you can do to help. If you're not in the position to jump on and become a sustaining financial supporter, I get it. Not everybody can, but you can tell people about the channel, help it grow, because I've got that promise. We get to 500,000 subscribers. We're 10%. All right. We'll put all the cameras out there on each little individual channel, and they'll just be available to watch. I don't like having a paywall, so to speak, by default, but I have to because otherwise I couldn't afford to do this. And we get to that number, then it changes the metrics. It literally does. We'll still have our Patreon. That won't go away. We'll just do other stuff with it, you see? But anyway, it does really matter that you guys are watching, so I appreciate it very much. I will drop the video first, leave the audio up. And thank you for tuning in. Good to see everybody on there. Don't forget, this afternoon at around 4 o'clock, I'll post the update, the more concise, hopefully, succinct, compact video, and you'll know. You'll say, "Hey, I knew he was going to talk about that ahead of time." You can say you saw the future because I've already talked to you here about what we're going to talk about this afternoon. Have a good rest of your morning, and I will see you again later today on this afternoon's update. I'm Mark Sudduth. Thanks for watching.